Hello and welcome to Money Mondays. My name is Peggy Doviak and I am doing this week's program in a slightly different format because this morning I got everything set up and I clicked go live and absolutely nothing happened and Facebook said, "We're sorry, you have the wrong kind of browser." So what I'm doing today is doing this off of my phone, so I'll try to hold my hand really still, look at the camera, and get everything to go. But we had a minor technical difficulty. I think it's sort of remarkable that this is the first time we've had a technical difficulty since we've been doing this. But I'm excited about this week's Money Monday because you've all seen the advertisements for the census. You've gotten your forms. If you were good, you got them already returned in time. If you didn't get them returned in time, you still have the opportunity to return your census with absolutely no harm, no foul. Just go ahead and do it. If you've managed to lose the envelope that they sent you, then you can go online to the Census Bureau and fill it out automatically. So you don't actually have to have the piece of paper that they sent you in order to fill out the census. Now, when you go online, when you've lost your piece of paper, not that I know this, mind you, but I've heard that if you lose your piece of paper and you're trying to get it done, then you'll see a button that says, "What was the number on your form?" And if you've lost the paper, you've obviously already lost that number as well. So what you do instead is you click on the button that says, "I've lost that number," and then they ask you the address, so they ask you who lives in the household. So it's very, very easy, very fast. I was really sort of dreading doing it. I didn't know how much would be involved in it. Absolutely simple to fill out a census form. I don't know where I was 10 years ago. I do know this is the first time I've ever filled out a census. So hopefully my husband did it 10 years ago and we actually didn't just skip the entire thing. So I am going to, as soon as this has filmed, because like I said, I'm working off of my phone, so it's not as easy for me to type as I'm going. I'm going to put some links on here, but I want to share some really cool census information with you today. And then I also am going to give both information for you as well as really, really awesome educational resources for your kids. Remember that the entire point of Money Monday was to provide resources for your kids because they were at home. And I know that I think a couple of school districts in Oklahoma have said, "Okay, you know what, we are done for the year." I know it's the 1st of May, but we're done for the year anyway. But I know that some people outside of Oklahoma are listening. And I also know that even though Oklahoma's opening back up, maybe your state isn't. And even if your state is opening up, you probably aren't as active and as out there as you were, and probably the kids aren't getting together with friends like they were. So what I wanted to give you is continued resources, so there's something for them to do, something fun. Maybe they'll learn something. I'm trying to, as we're getting further into this, try to come up with things that are fun as much as are educational, because I understand that the thrill is gone off of this entire experiment right now. So the first thing you do is you go to censusbureau.gov, and hang on a minute, so it's www.census.gov/programs-surveys. And then there's others. So I'm going to give you all of these links live. They have the coolest educational links and educational activities for kids that I've seen in a while. So when you find that page, I want you to go ahead and click on pre-K materials, even if you don't have pre-K kids, because in the middle of the pre-K materials is Dr. Seuss coloring pages. And it's Every Person Counts, no matter how small. And it's Dr. Seuss coloring pages. Coloring pages are fun. Even older kids like them. Even adults like them. So it's absolutely worth going to this. There's also a story and activity book that you can download. There's a song. And what's really fun, this is the first time I've seen this on any of the pages, everything's also in Spanish. So there's neat things, even if you don't have young kids, And then you can, I'm scrolling back to the other page, then it's divided into K through 12 activities, and from there it's divided by age. So you have all different grades, and then you have K through 2, 3 through 4, 5 through 6, 7 through 8, 9 through 12. What I want you to do when you go to look at these materials is go ahead and click on all of the tabs for each of the activities. So in other words, if you see something that you think looks neat, click on the Teachers tab. That'll give you half the information. Then click on the Students tab, and that will give you the other half. And they give you everything that you need. On one of these lessons, there was a song that you could download. I mean, it's just really kind of fun stuff. And it helps the kids understand the importance of the census. And now I know you guys are grown and you completely understand what the census is, right? I didn't. When I got in and I really started looking on the census website, I was amazed at the number of federal programs that are impacted by the census. It really matters that you fill this out. It helps with, in case there's natural disasters. It helps with public transportation. It helps with school programs like Head Start. There's a lot of really great programs that are completely determined by the census. In addition, filling out the census has a political component because it's the census data that determines how many members of the House of Representatives each state gets. Remember back from civics, you have 2 senators automatically, but then the number of House members you have depends upon your population. The population data comes from the census. Additionally, the census data is used for districting. And districting is how they cut your state up for how many House members you get. So it's really, really important that you fill this information out. Now, there's been some fear about the census as to how it's being used. And there is a page, and please let me be able to find this quickly. Okay, so there's another link that I'm going to give you that has get the facts, how to respond, why does it matter, and then the final tab on the top is privacy and security. And it talks about the rumors involved in the census. And some of the rumors from the census aren't quite as far-fetched as some rumors are, because there was a question at one point about including a citizenship question. There is no citizenship question on the census. Okay, I know this is true because I filled out the census and there was no citizenship question on it. And on this Setting the Record Straight page, it tells you that. So if you're not a citizen, you need to fill it out. Are non-citizens counted in the census? They are. And there's absolutely no difference in the vote. So I know that sometimes people are afraid, well, I'm not a citizen, I shouldn't fill this out. You're a human being who lives in wherever you live. And that's all the census is trying to determine. So go ahead and fill it out. So non-citizens count. Now here's the last piece, and I just have to believe the Census Bureau. They're not lying to you. Can the answers be shared with law enforcement? And the answer is no. Now, additionally, when you fill out the census, it doesn't ask for your name. It asks for an address and how many people are living there and the demographic background of that person. So in other words, it said, what countries of origin do I have? And I hope I filled this out right. I don't know. I may have actually called myself Scottish and English when I'm not really. But it sounded like they wanted my ethnic background, so that's what I gave them. If you think they want just the country you're from, then fill it out that way. I don't know. I'm not projecting to be an expert on this. But I do know that I can't imagine what there was that could have actually been used against me. So it is very, very important. And you really need to fill it out. It doesn't have to be online. If you've lost your paper and your form and you don't have online access, you might want to call. I'm not really sure how to handle that. But you do have the opportunity to fill it out by paper in case you don't have really good internet access to fill it out. If you just have like a smartphone, there may even be a way to do it on a smartphone. But so they're never going to ask you for your social security number. They're never going to ask you for money. They're never going to ask you your political party, and they're never going to ask your bank account number. So if you somehow get a form or you get to a website that's asking for that information, do not give it to them. Don't click a link coming from like Facebook or some other social media site or from an email that you get. Actually physically go to the Census site yourself. That way you haven't hit a ghosted site. That way you know that all of the information that you have is correct. So I think it's really fun. I know the resources are stuff that your kids will like. You may like it. It's really worth your time to go on to, especially the second page, as to why your answers matter. And I'm going to provide a link to a really nerdy report. And that really nerdy report has pages and pages and pages of the programs that are impacted by the census data. So I want you to go ahead and fill out your census if you haven't done it. Use the information with your kids. Now, because I got such a weird start to this Facebook Live, I've been starting with everything about the benefits available for people because of the pandemic. Let me remind you that if you are a small business owner, let's clarify that a little bit, because it's a small business owner or a sole proprietor or someone who is working on their own, you can qualify for the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program. Now, what the Payroll Protection Program does is it gives you money, which is equivalent to 2.5 months of your covered payroll. You will have to provide proof of what your payroll was. And so that data comes from whatever you were doing last year in 2019. If you've had a major change in your payroll this year, and maybe you've got a big expansion or something. Unfortunately, the loan is based off of last year's numbers. But you get 2.5 months of payroll. If you use 75% of that to pay employees, and then the other 25% for business essentials, and you do it within 60 days, you never have to pay that money back. And there was a lot of talk that there were really big companies that were taking a lot of the money. Well, I strongly suspect that no one listening to Money Mondays owns a really big business. I mean, it'd be great if they did, but kind of figuring we're all small business owners here. So if you haven't applied yet, you need to do it. If you have a banking relationship, you need to go to the bank that you have the relationship with, because those loans are going through a lot better than people who are just contacting really big mega banks that they don't know. Additionally, it's possible to apply at more than one bank. I've heard some cases this last week. I did some checking based off of some information that I had last week for you, that it is okay to apply 2 or 3 places. So if you've applied to a really big bank and they've turned you down, apply someplace else. Okay, there's still money in the program. That first tranche or section of money went really fast, but the next section of money is still available, or it was over the weekend. You know, it's very hard. The ground moves under our feet a lot these days. So there was at least money available this weekend if you're a small business owner, or if you're the only one you pay. Okay, that's something I don't think people understand. If you're self-employed, you still qualify for this to pay your own salary for 2.5 months. The idea of the program is to keep employees on the payroll. But you're an employee, and if your business is in trouble and you're the only employee, your business goes under if you go under. So it's not unfair to take it. You know, it's like, oh, well, this is so we can hire other people. No, this is to keep small businesses running. And if you're a sole proprietor, you know, maybe you're a hairdresser or a nail tech or something where you completely work for yourself, then that money is available to you. I would recommend going to your bank and talking to your banker. And if you don't know your banker by name, I recommend you do that too, because the better relationship you have with your bank, the easier it's going to be for this and for other programs going forward. I think you'll be glad you did. I know it helped me out a lot to be on a very good relationship with my banker, and it made it easier for me to make this happen. So that's all I've got for today. The census, I'm going to have to, when I get off of here, figure out where to type those links in, but I will type the links in, I promise. And then also, if you haven't yet applied for the PPP and you qualify for it, then I want you to go ahead and apply for that, and then it'll help your business make it. Okay, we're all in this together. I know it seems like 80,000 years since it was March, and I know it's been hard, and I know we're all sick of it, and we're all tired, and our hair is growing, and our nails look awful, even the guys. But I want you to not give up, okay? I want you, you can do this. You can absolutely pull this off. Keep a schedule every day. Do something to help your business, even if it's just, doing a Facebook post about how great your business is and you can't wait to see people again. Okay, I want you to every day do something to try to keep this going. Take care of yourself, get enough sleep, get good food to eat. And we're going to keep going with Money Mondays as long as you guys want me to. Certainly, we're going to run it through the end of May, and then I'm probably going to go ahead and put out a survey, see if you want information over the summer or not. That's all I have for you. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.